What's up, guys? It's Zero here, bringing you all a brand new episode of the Animal Podcast. This is episode 3 of the Animal Podcast, and I'm joined by my good friend, Neo90. What's up, brother?
What's up? I'm doing all right.
You've been, because you were on episode 2 of the Animal Podcast.
Yes, sir.
What was your kind of overall thoughts on your first podcast ever?
It was really good. I really enjoyed it being here.
Yeah. I thought it was definitely a really good episode with Jeff and with Alyssa here and everything. I thought the overall notion of the podcast as a whole, it's been, every step that we've taken with each individual podcast, it's like more and more people are seeing us, whether it's on the YouTube shorts, whether it's clips, whatever it is. And so it's cool that we're creating some form of impact, which was kind of the whole idea of these shows. Before we get into the main topics, I want to mention, guys, that the Animal Podcast, we talk about everything in the world of gaming, and we give you guys some insight into what it all means. And before we get into these topics, Neo, one of the things I wanted to talk about was, so guys, we're coming out of Zero Dark. Zero Dark is South Carolina's home for gaming, esports, photography, videography, and entertainment. And we shot a commercial here a number of weeks ago with ABC that's going to be played during the NBA playoff run of 2025. And you were a part of it.
Yes, I am.
And you're on the thumbnail and everything.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. What was that experience like doing like, have you ever done a commercial before?
Never.
Yeah. What'd you think about that?
It's a dream come true, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought like the experience, I mean, it was pretty quick. We didn't have to do really any acting. There was like that one segment where we talk about, doing tournaments and you and I dab each other up or whatever. But yeah, I thought that the commercial turned out really good. It's kind of a funny story though. When ABC originally sent me the draft for the commercial, they had like a professional guy doing the voiceover, but I didn't like the way that the voiceover sounded. Like the guy sounded almost like he was doing like a radio spot commercial. You know what I'm talking? Like kind of like that old school, like radio style. Yeah. And I didn't like it. And so what I did was I actually came into Zero Dark. I had the script that they were using and I did it myself, but I wanted it to be more like epic almost, kind of like, those old like
epic, energetic.
Yeah,
Dave,
like
Dave and Buster's like
kind of like GameStop.
GameStop, okay.
Like the old GameStop commercials, like get your power up rewards card or what, get your power up reward points, save 30% on Call of Duty Black Ops 3 or whatever. And I wanted it to have like this epic feel to it. And so I did it the way that I thought sounded good. And I sent it to them and I said, hey, I told my contact over there and I said, hey, is there any way that your voice actor can sound more like this? And my guy reached back out to me from ABC and said, dude, I think yours is fantastic.
You're the guy.
Can we just use yours? I was like, I mean, sure, we can do that. Like, I just thought that they would have somebody that was gonna, be like just a killer when it came to, do like that's your job as doing voiceovers, right? But maybe it was just like they felt that since it's, my thing, that I sound like I would have more passion about it than one of their voice actors, and that's true. And so anyways, I thought the commercial was awesome. It starts tomorrow. For those of you guys who are watching this will be, obviously you're watching this after this is all recorded and stuff. But yeah, we're going to be on like Jimmy Kimmel. We're going to be on 7 o'clock news, 4 o'clock news, Good Morning America, Inside Edition. And then, of course, the Lakers, Timberwolves, and the Celtics and Magic. And so it's an awesome opportunity to just try to spread the word about what we're doing, you know? So super excited about it. Hopefully we'll have some, more people for you to play some Sonic with or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mario Kart 8.
Yeah. Mario Kart. The new Mario. Well, we'll be talking about the new Mario Kart too.
Yeah.
But that being said, let's talk about, I want to start, Neo, with this. I know you're not a huge horror fan. We just watched the trailer for Cronos, The New Dawn, which is a new horror title coming from the guys who made Layers of Fears, The Medium. They've done a number of like horror-esque titles in Bloober Team. And Cronos, The New Dawn got a gameplay reveal trailer. We don't know yet when it's going to be releasing and stuff. And I know you not being a huge horror fan, what was your takeaway from the trailer?
It looks very interesting. It's creepy as hell for one.
Yeah, it is. It's a creepy
and
game.
all the aliens just, if you don't defeat them in time, they can merge,
right,
and become stronger basically.
Yeah, and you brought up a really good point where while we were watching the trailer, Neo mentioned that it looks very Dead Space like, and I think that's a great way to describe it. It looks like a successor, spiritual successor to Dead Space. It looks like they're trying to kind of take this survival horror sci-fi element to it, and there's a lot of things about it that look really interesting to me. I love how it was like, it's almost like some of the buildings were there and then there was like a rocket or something that hit them, and then because of the zero gravity, like the pieces are just floating in space.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're like floating, and it looks like you're able, obviously you have zero G in there. Looks like the couple of things I'm a little bit concerned about is it doesn't look like there's a lot of different weapons you can use, at least from the gameplay trailer. It looks like there's a pistol and maybe some kind of like
shotgun.
Yeah, shotgun. And the enemies as well. Like the enemies look very similar. Now maybe the whole merging thing, they all look different when they merge or something. So it'll be interesting. I guess, yeah, they've got a few different creature designs and stuff. We'll have to see as we get more information. But I think overall, oh, you know what else it gave me vibes of? It gave me some vibes of Silent Hill as well, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit of some Silent Hill vibes mixed with Dead Space. And I guys, I'm actually pretty excited about it. I think it could be something really cool. And we don't know when it's coming out. And maybe this is the game that, even though I believe that the Callisto Protocol was a true spiritual successor to Dead Space that just wasn't really given the chance, Cronos seems to me to be even though the Callisto Protocol was, to me, a true spiritual successor to Dead Space, I think that Cronos is going to potentially do what the Callisto Protocol was not able to do, which is potentially be a successful spiritual successor to Dead Space, because the Callisto Protocol was kind of overlooked because of the Dead Space remake. Amongst a number of things, people really didn't give the Callisto Protocol much of a chance because it just, I don't know, people just felt like it was a copy and paste of Dead Space. They thought it kind of launched with a lot of bugs and issues, and anything like that can really hurt a game. And shortly after the Callisto Protocol came out, the Dead Space remake came out. So it was a number of things that really were against the Callisto Protocol. I think this one could be a true spiritual successor to it, and I hope it creates a full-blown franchise for Bloober Team. But with that being said, guys, let us know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about Cronos, The New Dawn, this up-and-coming, sci-fi horror title, survival horror title? I'll be really interested to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section down below, and let us know your thoughts. All right, Neo. So this next segment of the show that I want to talk about, we saw another trailer, and it's for a game that has taken the Steam world by storm right now and is Schedule 1. They have an absolutely massive launch. I believe from what I was reading about it is that it was one single person who made this game, and he is, because of, I haven't played it yet. I've seen a lot of other people playing it and stuff, but there's some form of like, um, it's creating like this real community of just people who really enjoy this title. But this one guy, like the first month that he brought the game out, it generated like $43 million. And so this guy went
What?
like from, making this game in his basement, and now he's a multimillionaire.
Oh my
Um,
god.
and so, anyways, really interesting concept. You can tell though, like it's an indie title, but part of like just from the graphics alone, it's like, yeah, dude, it looks like early 2000s. It doesn't look, there's nothing that crazy about it, but I think that's what people love about it. They love that it's like
Nostalgic feel.
the nostalgic feel, like just kind of mindless fun almost. And it looks like there's just, I mean, yeah, you're like mixing drugs together and you're doing like all kinds of like, you like, seems like it's like an open world kind of ordeal. It kind of like has a GTA feel to it a little bit, just like, obviously not good, not as good of like graphics and all those things, but it looks like that's like kind of silly fun almost. You saw the trailer. What did you think about it?
It was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what can you really say about it? Hey, dude, like we're making drugs.
Drugs, marijuana.
Yeah, and it looks like apparently my brother was telling me, because he is really into it right now. He was telling me that like you can mix certain drugs with other drugs, and you can like make like people's heads explode
Oh
and
god.
like do all this crazy shit, dude. In the game. And like I said, I want to play it for myself for sure. I mean, like I see these numbers, and when I see like, $43 million, dude, based off of, just people buying the game, is absolutely, for an indie game, that's life-changing for a guy like this. And now it spawns an entire opportunity for him to, I mean, focus, right now on schedule 1, but who knows? Is he gonna make a schedule 2? Could he, I mean, the job offers to like people trying to buy the IP from him. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, it's life changing in a number of ways, and so super excited to see. I think for me, do you play a lot of indie games, by the way?
Um, I played Undertale. I played Cuphead. I need to play Hollow Knight.
Mm.
Besides that, I think those are the only 2 games I've played that I know of.
Yeah, I've played a number of indie games. Usually, though, for me, the indie games that I play are typically horror titles. I like to find just like horror games. I mean, the FNAF series.
Right.
I mean, that could be, considered one of the, the biggest indie game.
Oh yeah, I forgot FNAF is indie.
Right. Yeah.
Scott Coffin.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably the biggest indie game of all time.
Did I say his last name right? Coffin? Coffin?
I forget his last name.
I think it's Cawthon. Yeah, Scott Coffin.
Okay.
I accidentally said coffin like casket in a funeral. Whoops. Sorry, Scott.
No, I mean, but that is a perfect example of a franchise that was spawned from an indie developer, right? And I mean, he still is making, he just kept on making more and more of these FNAF games, and now you got the movie, they're making a second movie. I mean, it's awesome. And so I think the rise of indie games is great because you can find some really great indie titles that are a lot cheaper than your AAA stuff, and a lot of times they're better than the AAA stuff because it's like labors of love for these indie developers. I remember I got a copy of an indie game from a development team of 3 guys. They're called Team Kill Media. They made a game called Quantum Error, and it was their very first game they ever made. And they gave me a key for PlayStation 5. It came out just on PlayStation, and I remember playing it, and like, yeah, once again, kind of like Schedule 1, like the graphics aren't the best, right?
Right.
But I could tell the intricacies of all the little details that they put into the game. And it was different in a number of ways. It had some like Doom vibes. It had like, there was a number of things that they were drawing, inspiration from. But I love that it was like three brothers making this game in their house. And they got a grant from Epic Games from, I don't know if it was from Quantum Air or something. They got a grant from Epic Games to make more games. And I thought that was like the coolest shit on the planet. I'm like, they made a game just recently called Sun and Bone, which is like a Turok spiritual successor. I don't know if you've ever played Turok, but it's like a man with like dinosaur. It's like a dinosaur game. There's like dinosaurs that roam the earth. And, but anyway, Sun and Bone is kind of like that. It's like cowboys, like in the cowboy days, with dinosaurs. And it's just, like creative
if the
shit.
meteor missed the earth.
Yeah, it's like really cool. Like you just kind of I love that these guys were given that opportunity of having a grant from Epic Games to make more shit that they like. I love that. But anyways, so Schedule 1, guys, are you guys playing it? Are you planning on playing it? What are your guys' thoughts about it? Let us know in the comment section down below, and let us know your thoughts. All right, Neo. With that down, let's talk about this. Some big news happened. It's, time's gone a little bit here, but the Nintendo Switch Direct, and Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, comes out, and I would love to get your take on like the pricing for the because a lot of people, there was a huge focal point on the price of the games and how much it costs for the Nintendo Switch 2 and stuff. But man, they released some really, I'm so excited about a couple of these games specifically that we're going to talk about. You got a chance to watch the Nintendo Switch Direct?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Let's start with the Nintendo Switch 2. As a console, what do you think about it?
I think it is a really good successor to the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
It supports up to 4K in docked mode, 60 FPS, or if you want more performance, you can boost that up to 120 frames per second at 1080p.
Mm-hmm.
And in handheld mode, it's 1080p, 60 FPS, and if for performance mode, it's 720p, 120 frames per second.
And the screen's larger. I love the magnetic Joy-Cons.
Magnetic Joy-Cons, that.
Love that. Nintendo has always done a really good job of kind of, like, I can think back with the Wii to like just a number of their consoles. They've always done some really innovative things. Like, for example, taking the Joy-Cons on the Nintendo Switch 2 and they can be like a mouse.
A mouse, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, Fortnite players are gonna go nuts with that mechanic.
Now, I'd like to get your take on this. I am a little bit concerned about it just because I'm like, dude, it looks like it's gonna break really easy when you're stuff like that.
Right.
Are you concerned about stuff like that? Or do you think, because I'm thinking about it from the perspective, remember when the Wii came out and there was the big issues were when it first released, the Joy-Cons, or the whatever you call them,
Wii remote,
the Wii remote, you would like it was really easy to fling, and then it would like break, and it was like not super durable.
Right.
So they've had a history with this. Now, obviously, and they've done certainly, hundreds of thousands of hours of testing, but those little details like that are what concern me about it. On paper, it's an awesome, innovative idea. The question is it going to work? Like, do you think it'll work properly?
I would have a feeling it would work really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm really excited about that. They also introduced game chat.
Right.
Game chat, I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's like a game changer. I think it's cool.
It's basically Discord before Nintendo.
Right. I think it's cool. I think it's neat that they made it a feature. I don't know how many people are actually going to be using it. But it is interesting. I'm interested to see how it kind of plays along with the Switch itself. And how that, because you can imagine games like Mario Party and even like Mario Kart and all these
Right.
different games that you can like play collaboratively,
Right.
or competitively. It's going to be an interesting addition to just the Nintendo Switch. The other thing is, before we move on from the Nintendo Switch 2, the price. A lot of people there's been a good amount of backlash about the price, that being $449 for the console.
Right.
What do you think about the price?
I think the price is a good jump from the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, do you think it's fair though?
Yeah, it's fair. It's 4K. I mean, come on. You're gonna have to.
I'm totally with you. And the thing about it for me is like, people who are upset about it, I'm like, okay, first of all, number one, the Nintendo Switch 2 is still cheaper than the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5.
Right.
That's number one. Number two is it is an upgrade in a number of ways from the first Switch to the second Switch.
Right.
And I think that, where people really were upset, they were upset about the price of the Switch, but they were really upset about the price of the games.
Right.
Okay. So this gets to the games. Now, I do have a problem with how much it is for the physical copies.
Right.
I don't have an issue with the digital, and I'll tell you why. What do you think, though, about the price of the games?
The price of the games, for what I understand, and that there's the rumor that GTA 6 is going to be $100, setting the physical game to $90 basically set up GTA 6 to be $100.
Mm-hmm. It did. Without question.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Me neither.
Now, that being said, I have no problem with them having Mario Kart World at $80 or whatever, and like Donkey Kong Bonanza at $70, and I'll tell you why. At the end of the day, the way I look at it, guys, if we go back 10, 15 years ago, it was a standard across the industry that all the AAA titles would price their games at $59.99 for a copy of the game. It was like a standard. It was $60.
Right.
And it stayed that way. It stayed that way for like over a decade.
Right.
They never changed the price with inflation, nothing. Now, a couple of years ago, they went from $60 to $70. Okay.
Right.
Call of Duty Black Ops 6 comes out. They charge $70 to, with the standard edition or whatever.
Right.
The reason why I don't have a problem with it is because if the games industry stays at $60, just as an example, with rising inflation over the years, as it's been just inflation and everything else, the cost of games is becoming way more expensive. So,
sure.
like, to give you an example, GTA 5 and GTA 4, okay, they cost GTA 4. I believe that was reported on Take-Two's earnings that it cost them $100 million to make GTA 4.
Wow.
GTA 5 costed them $200 million. GTA 6 is reportedly going to be $2 billion. $2 billion. That's with a B, guys.
That is
$1 billion. That is, now they're going to make their money back, but what I'm getting at here is if GTA 6 came out at $59.99, it's going to take them longer to make that money back. And what I think it does is it decreases innovation, because think of it like this, Neo. Say you and I are going to go make a video game and we can only charge, $60. Well, let's say we make our money back from that first game, if we want to make another game, if we don't up the price, we're going to basically have to stick with the same graphics, the same budget, all of those things. We can't innovate. And so if the games industry like stays at just this price of $60, you have to think of salaries for the people working on the games, to marketing. I would bet anything that GTA 6's marketing campaign alone is going to be the budget of GTA 5. I think that I think they're going to spend $200 million in marketing for sure. 100%. So more like $2.2 billion. Like it's going to be insane. Now that game's going to be Fortnite on steroids, but the moral of this is this. I think we're going into a time, Neo, where the games industry, Nintendo kind of set this bar, and that's why I think a lot of people are upset. They thought that GTA 6 was going to be the one that set the new standard of games, whereas Nintendo is. They're kind of the ones that are staying ahead of it. And I think what we're going to see now from AAA studios is we're not going to see all the games from AAA studios at $60 like it used to be. I think what they're going to do is each individual studio is going to say, okay, Mario Kart World, this is like a flagship title. It cost us this much to make. We're going to place this at $80. Donkey Kong Bonanza, it cost us this much to make. We're going to charge this at $70. And all the games are going to be different prices, right? And I think that's like what I'm saying is just because GTA 6 is going to be $100 or $150, whatever, I don't believe that's going to be the norm.
Right.
I think that every studio is going to look at, like Ubisoft, for example, they're going to say, okay, our flagship titles are Far Cry, Rainbow Six, and Assassin's Creed. So those are going to be our $80 games. Now, these other ones, you know, there are other titles, Splinter Cell and whatever else they decide to make, we make those $70. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think that now we're going to be in a part of gaming history where the prices will fluctuate in ways that we've never seen before. What do you think about that?
I think that's a safe idea.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. The way I see it is if the higher price means that we get higher quality games, I'm 1,000% down to spend an extra $10, $15, $20
for the
on
good
those
graphics.
For what? Yeah, better stories, right?
Right.
Like, would you want to have a Sonic Frontiers 2 that's basically a copy and paste of Sonic Frontiers 1 because they didn't have the budget? Or would you rather them make Sonic Frontiers 2 and it's like, holy shit, dude, they just went to another level? You would want to pay the extra money to go to another level.
Right.
Right. So it's one of those things that's at least how I feel about it. Let us know what you guys think about that, guys, in the comment section down below, and let us know your thoughts. With that down, Neo, I want to talk about a couple of the games, though, that got announced at the Nintendo Switch Direct, Nintendo Switch 2 Direct.
Right.
Mario Kart World. I got to tell you, man, I am really... I mean, we just had a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tournament out of Zero Dark. It was awesome. Had a lot of fun. Mario Kart World, I think it looks great. I think it looks fantastic. It's been a game that I've been excited about, like another Mario Kart. Not as much as I've been wanting a, Super Mario Odyssey 2, but... Mario Kart is awesome, and Mario Kart World looks great. The graphics look great. I mean, it's not like earth-shattering graphics, but it does, like the colors and the, just the way that the gameplay is constructed now, and the amount of players that are in lobbies, and all of those different things really make this a compelling experience. What did you think about Mario Kart World?
Sorry, Mario Kart World looks really, really amazing. Regarding the characters themselves, they look more cartoony than they did in Mario Kart 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling they are taking innovation from Sonic Riders or Sonic Racing, not Sonic Riders. Sorry, because sometimes your kart can turn into a plane. And Sonic Racing Transform did that, or your car can turn into a boat, and Sonic Racing Transform did that as well. So I feel like they're taking innovation from Sega in a way.
Yeah, and I am absolutely excited. Wait, when's the last time they had Sonic Racing?
They're about to release Sonic Racing Cross World soon. So
oh, cool. Did you get into those? the Sonic racing?
Not as much as I did with Mario Kart, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah. Mario Kart just has a way the way that the fluidity of the game, the way it feels, the control you feel like you have or don't have, like it creates a really fun competitive atmosphere where you can have just lots of fun. It sounds like an open world Mario Kart.
It is an open
Yeah.
world.
So
Yeah.
like you can just travel wherever you want, which is really interesting. Like I think that's going to be one of the first things that I want to do. I might try a race, but then, like, hey, you know what? You guys do your thing. I'm going to go over here, figure out what's, and like start looking at Easter eggs or like
Right.
whatever.
Oh yeah.
Collecting whatever stars.
And there was a Mario Kart World Direct today. Was it today or yesterday? I think it was today, right? There are actually like missions within free roam mode.
Wow. Really?
Yes.
Kind of like story missions or what?
It's probably that, but yeah, right?
Yeah, no, that would be cool. I didn't even know that. That's sick. Yeah, so I mean, I think Mario Kart World, dude, I'm all in. I think it's gonna be a really exciting experience for kids and adults alike, for sure. But that leads me into the game that stole the show for me. Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Bro. Well, here's the thing. I don't know if you knew this, but the guys who made Super Mario Odyssey
are making the sequel.
Well, they're making the sequel, but they're the ones they made Donkey Kong Bonanza,
yeah.
and they're apparently making a Super Mario Odyssey 2 at some point.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when.
It's the same people who made Super Mario Odyssey who are making Donkey Kong Bonanza.
I'm so excited, dude. Like that is my most anticipated game from Nintendo. It's not even close. I mean, when I saw it originally, I was like, man, like the first initial.
It's a Donkey Kong beat 'em up game.
But you know what? At first, before they showed Donkey Kong, I was like, dude, no way. Are they about to announce Super Mario Odyssey 2? And then they showed Donkey Kong. I was like, no way. And then afterwards, actually, Jeff was the one who brought it up to me that it was made by Donkey Kong Bonanza was made by the guys who did Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
And Super Mario Odyssey is my favorite Mario game of all time. I absolutely loved Super Mario Odyssey. Donkey Kong Bonanza, it almost like they kind of took the formula of Super Mario Odyssey, and there's just ways where you're like going underground, you're like destructible environments. Like,
yeah, that too.
I love that. And then open world. I mean, dude, the last open world Donkey Kong game I think was.
This is the second 3D Donkey Kong game ever. Because the first one, Donkey Kong 64. Yeah.
And that one was open world.
Open world 3D stage like. I hadn't played Donkey Kong 64 unfortunately, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, just to be completely transparent, like I was never really like Donkey Kong's cool.
Right.
But it kind of was a little bit like you ever play like Spyro the Dragon? Do you remember that guy? The purple dragon?
I know Spyro. I've never played the games.
Okay. It kind of was a little bit like that, at least to me. I liked it. I didn't love it.
Right.
This looks like right down my alley. Like the graphics, like the bright colors, very vibrant. Just I don't know, dude. There's
Nintendo's Donkey Kong, not Rare's Donkey Kong.
Right, exactly.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah, and I think it looks incredible. I mean, I cannot wait for that game. That is absolutely my most anticipated game from Nintendo. And I mean, they announced other games like the Dusk Bloods,
which is basically like a successor to Bloodborne, basically.
Right. Just how they got it only on the Switch is wild to me. They must have made a crazy deal. But anyway, yeah, there's that. You have the Metroid Prime
4 Beyond.
Yeah. That's probably going to be killer.
Yeah, and you can play it. And you can play it at 120 frames per second. Which
is
really crazy?
No way. Wait, when is that coming out? Did they tell us?
Nintendo Switch 2?
No. The Metroid Prime.
Oh, I think they said either autumn or holiday 2025.
Okay.
I think. I'm not certain.
Because I think that Mario Kart World.
Is same day release as Nintendo Switch
Right.
2.
And then Donkey Kong Bonanza, I think is like, is it a month after or something? I'm trying to remember when I forget what the release date was.
I think it was July.
Okay, yeah, you might be right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall though, I think that yes, there was a ton of backlash about the pricing of the games and all that stuff. But I am absolutely I'm super excited about some of these games. I'm really glad that they're still planning on making a sequel to Super Mario Odyssey. But yeah, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Mario Kart World, dude, I think it's a great way to kind of kickstart the Nintendo Switch 2 because it's felt like a long time coming. And we're going to have to get some Nintendo Switch 2s in here for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and that's going to be exciting. But the question is for all of you guys, what do you all think about the games that got announced and showed off at the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct? What are your guys' thoughts about it? Let us know in the comment section down below and let us know your thoughts. With that down, Neo, our last topic that I want to talk to you about is they announced the dates for the Xbox Games Showcase. So it got announced. And it's interesting because they really haven't told us all the games that they're going to be showing at the Xbox Game Showcase. We do know the Outer Worlds 2 is going to have like a direct because it's going to be like one of the games that's going to be coming out the soonest, I guess you could say.
Right.
There's a lot of games I'm super excited about that I'm sure they're going to be showing off. Like, they'll be probably showing off Gears of War E-Day. They'll probably be showing off the new Fable. They'll probably Bethesda might have some things to say about the Oblivion remake. Maybe some people are saying it's going to stealth drop. There's a lot of buzz going around about this Summer Game Showcase. I believe it's June 9th. One of the questions I had for you though is because you're primarily you play a lot of your games on like you like playing on PC,
right?
But you like to use an Xbox controller as well, at least when you're here.
Right.
So how like in tuned are you with like the ins and outs of what's going on over at Xbox? Like with new games coming out, do you kind of have somewhat of a pulse on it or?
Not really, unfortunately. All I know is like Call of Duty, Rainbow Six Siege, all the FPS games.
Yeah. Have you ever watched one of these Xbox Game Showcases? Because they usually have like 2 a year.
I've never watched one of them.
You definitely should, dude. I think you would enjoy it because they show off such a wide array of different games, and there's like games that are coming out that I know it's going to happen at the Xbox Game Showcase. They're going to show some like world premiere, or they're going to show off games that are getting like a second or third trailer that I've never even heard of, and then I see the trailer and I'm like, okay, that looks really interesting. Then I go on like X and I'm like looking at like their X profile. Then I go to their website and all that stuff. And so I think it's a great way to find not so much like diamonds in the rough, but like finding games that look really compelling, especially when, when you think about it, we are in a time when there's like more games available now more than ever before between Steam and then Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Premium Plus and all these different ways that you can play different games. But sometimes it almost becomes overwhelming when you go on to Xbox Game Pass. It's like, holy shit, dude, there's over 400 games here. You go on to PlayStation Premium Plus, the same kind of thing. You got so many games to choose from. When you have a showcase like this, it kind of puts a spotlight on a select number of games, but some of those games you might have never even heard of or had no idea that they were coming out or continuations or sequels or whatever. And so the Xbox Game Showcase, I mean, I am most excited to hear news about Gears of War E-Day. Gears of War is one of my favorite games of all time. I cannot wait to see the continuation of this franchise.
Gear 6, right?
It's called Gears of War E-Day. Technically, it's Gear 6, but Gears of War E-Day goes actually back. It's like a prequel before the first game.
Really?
They're
A
going back in time.
prequel?
Yeah. So they're,
Cool.
so they're going back to Emergence Day, which is when the locusts emerged into Sarah, into the
Huh.
world, basically. And so, yeah, I think Gears of War E-Day is definitely number one. But there's a lot of games, dude. I'm really excited. I mean, Fable to Doom to,
Huh.
I mean, there's so many different games that are.
What's the new Doom game? Doom game coming out?
It's called Doom: The Dark Ages.
Dark Ages. That's right.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, I mean, like, I love Doom, but I've never been as big of a fan as some people. Like,
Right.
I always, you know,
Like,
there was
I'm with you on that.
like I chose to play Halo over Doom. It was
Right.
kind of like, oh, there's Master Chief and then there's Doom Slayer, and
Right.
it's like, you know, so I always liked Master Chief. I have nothing against Doom Slayer. Like, the Doom is a great franchise.
Is it just bloodshed? Or wait.
In Doom?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. I mean, you're just you're like, killing alien species and stuff, and it's just
Demons.
yeah, you are a complete, like, slaughter machine.
I mean, I like Doom, but at the same time, I don't, because it's just nothing but bloodshed. I'm just like,
yeah, you kind of like the. I mean, there's something to be said about, like, I'm really glad that games like Doom and Doom: The Dark Ages looks like it could be the best Doom they've ever done, but I'm glad that it exists for those people who really like those types of games. Similar to, like, the games that you like, Sonic to Lego to all these different,
Mario. Yeah.
It's really important that there's something for everybody, and that's what's awesome about gaming. And so, the Xbox Game Showcase. Okay, let me ask you this. If there was one game that you would like to see an announcement for at Xbox Game Showcase, like a game that we have no idea if it's coming or not, whether it's a sequel, a continuation, could be anything, what would you want to see Xbox? And remember, Xbox Game Showcase isn't just for Xbox exclusives. It could be for really anything, but they typically will show a lot of the Xbox games exclusives. But would you want them? I'm guessing you'd want them to show off of Sonic Frontiers too. But what would you want them to show? If you just, like, dream scenario,
What I know is Nintendo used to make used to own Banjo-Kazooie, right? And then Microsoft bought them from Nintendo.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised to see Banjo-Kazooie 3 or something.
Would you want to see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely would like to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, and who knows? Maybe they would do something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's
I'm trying to remember if there's 2 or 3 games of Banjo-Kazooie, because there's Banjo.
I think they're on Xbox Game Pass. I can't remember how many.
Banjo-Kazooie and then Banjo-Tooie.
Is it really
Tooie, like with the TWO and Tooie?
Holy shit. That's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that would yeah, dude, that'd be killer, dude. I would love, yeah, if the more stuff that they're announcing, I mean, it just creates more opportunity for gamers of all different types of different genres and stuff to get involved. And so I'm excited, and Xbox has been doing a great job of, they've really expanded their catalog of games after they bought Activision Blizzard, after they bought Bethesda.
Right.
I mean, they are just, they are taking some aggressive approaches to be the dominant console, even though PlayStation still owns them at this point. Them buying Call of Duty, them buying, Elder Scrolls and all these other games. There is, the competition is absolutely coming.
What I want to be like remade is Guitar Hero, because since Microsoft bought Activision.
That is such untapped potential.
Well, the thing is, they're doing Fortnite Festival, which is basically Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
I'm just like, why? Or it's Rock Band, really, because it's the flat notes, not the round notes.
Rock Band and
Rock Band 5 potential.
Dude, I've made videos on my channel about that. Yeah, they definitely should do that. because the way I see it is like, you know how this hype with cards, like Pokemon, bro, I'm
Right.
sold out of Pokemon cards in here. Like,
Really?
yeah, we're trying to get more. I'm trying to get more right now.
And Yu-Gi-Oh cards and
And
all that.
Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah, Magic. What I'm saying though is, if we go back in time, like when I was younger, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh were really popular.
Yeah.
And what happened was Pokemon was the biggest. Pokemon started dipping off, and then Yu-Gi-Oh became really popular. Yu-Gi-Oh starts dipping off, then Magic starts popping off.
Right.
And then now we've got Pokemon back on the rise. And I'm sure Yu-Gi-Oh will be on the rise again, and then Magic will be on the rise. What I'm saying is Guitar Hero was so popular back then,
Yeah.
right? Rock Band, and they came out like, I mean, I think it was a couple
Rock
years.
Band came out a little later.
A little later, right?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is there was a massive audience for it. If you reintroduced it, it could be another wave of being something that's viral again,
Right.
like a viral IP once again. And I just think it's untapped potential. I just do. I think the problem was that they were banging out too many guitar heroes. Oversaturation.
Yeah, that's the reason why
it died.
collapsed.
It collapsed, yeah. So you don't need to do that. You just make one. You could make one Guitar Hero for each console generation.
Right.
Like one for the Xbox Series X, and then when the next Xbox comes out, the Xbox 3 or whatever they call it, then you come out with a new Guitar Hero and a new Rock Band. Like updated
Xbox Nebula, I don't know.
yeah, updated graphics, updated like more songs in the library, like whatever. And the Dance Dance
Revolution, yeah.
I mean, that's another one, dude. Like,
well,
bro,
as a home console, because right now Konami is still making their arcade cabinets for Dance Dance Revolution. DDR World is the current one right now.
Right. So I just think that that's another, like, I'm not saying it's completely untapped, but it's like you don't really hear tons of people. Like, if you came out with an updated version of DDR.
Right. DDR, that was actually PlayStation 2 who released those games.
Okay. But I'm just saying an updated version, right?
Right.
Of that as well.
Huh.
I mean, imagine, dude, with just like the culture that was around it, and like you have a new generation coming in now into gaming and stuff.
Right.
They see this, bro, because I've been even thinking about having something like that. I just have kind of been waiting for, will they make a new one at some point, and that way I can put it in here in one way or another. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
With updated songs, graphics, all, I mean, whatever, and it seems like untapped potential, but it'll be really interesting to see what they do with the Xbox Game Showcase. I would love to hear from all of you guys. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comment section down below, and let us know your thoughts. And with that down and out of the way, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the Animal Podcast. I hope you guys all did enjoy it. Neo, how can people find you, brother?
You guys can find me on Twitter/X, and you can also find me on Twitch.
And what is your X and your Twitch handle?
Twitter is Neo 9.0. Twitch is Neo9_0.
Awesome, man. You guys got to check out Neo for sure. Those links will be in the description down below. Really appreciate each and every one of you for joining us for this episode of the Animal Podcast. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure that you leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Stay positive. Just keep grinding. And as always, I'll see you guys all in the next one.
Peace.
Peace out.